What's up, everyone? Mr. Catlin here, trying to help you out with your NTI Day 3 assignment. I've posted this part for you to create in Onshape, and I would like you not only to create it in the Part Studio like this, but I'd also like you to create a drawing of it, showing your dimensions, holes properly done. And so this video is going to walk you through how to do that. Now, you're going to start a brand new part, but I'm just going to create a new one within this one so I can refer back to the drawing for reference for you, so I can pop back and see uh, what the dimensions were, so on and so forth. And hopefully this will load in a timely manner as I would like to bounce back and forth. Okay, yeah, looks like it might do that. All right, so you're starting a new document. We'll jump to new sketch here in a second. Make sure that you are in inches and pounds. That way, the information that you get whenever you do your scales of the sizes are proper whenever we get done with this. So just double check that before you get rolling. But if this is the image that I'm having to draw, I like to start with the top view. That's just me. I'm going to draw kind of this outside part and then offset the inside and then kind of extrude what I do and do not want in that other part. So that's where I'm going to start with this. So I'm going to go to sketch. I'm going to look at the top view. I'm going to hit end to view it normal. And I'm going to start off with the size of the rectangle, which I believe, from memory served me, it is a 5-inch by a 3-inch rectangle, right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to offset, which is here, and I'm going to come in on all of these sides. I'm clicking on all these sides, and I'd like to offset it by a 1/2 inch because that's what it says in the dimensions. So I'm going to type in 1/2 inch there. And we'll go ahead and finish that sketch for now. But just kind of showing off what I'm doing there, I'm just drawing these dark lines here. Offset it in because it said it was a 1/2 inch wide, right? Now I know that with this, what I want to do is I want to raise the outside up the height of the object, which is 5 inches, and the inside part, right here, I guess so to speak, it only comes up. It looks like 2 inches because it's 3 from there to there. So I'm going to extrude it up 2, and then the whole thing up 5. So that's what I'm going to do next. So I'm going to go back to my part studio and knock out some extrusions here. I'm going to extrude this up 5 inches because that's the height of the whole thing. And then I'm going to hit OK on that. Now, the problem with trying to extrude again from right here, a lot of you are going to try to click there and extrude, is that the sketch for some reason has been hidden. So what I want to do is I'm going to extrude on that. And this time I only want to come up 2 inches because it doesn't go as high on that section. It's kind of like hollowed out. You could also do this with shell, but the problem with shell is it wants you to do the whole distance around the whole thing the same, and not a big fan of that. So that's what I'm gonna roll there. So far, I feel like I've got the top and the shell of everything. Next is I'm gonna knock out this little section right here. I'm just gonna remove that section. And if we look at it from the front, we can see that it's 75 hundredths from the sides and it goes down. It looks like 2 inches because it's 3 inches tall. So I'm going to make that rectangle and then put in those dimensions, right? So let me go back to my part here. I'm going to look at it from the front, which is here. So I'm going to draw a sketch on this surface. I'm going to look at it normal with end button. I'm going to draw a rectangle in this vicinity here, right? And now I can just dimension it the way that I want it. I know that I want this to be 75 hundredths. So that's 75 hundredths. I know that I need this distance over here from there to also be 75 hundredths. And then, like I saw before, I know that I need this distance to be 2 inches. And there we go. So I got that part sketched out. Now what I want to do is I want to knock that wall off, right? So I'm going to extrude. This is going to be a remove of that. And an inch should be plenty. Yeah, there we go. So I got that part knocked out, right? And sorry, I'm using my uh, touchpad laptop at home, so me navigating around is not as quick as I normally would be. Okay, so I've got that part finished. Let's go back to the drawing. There's really only one thing that I need to do now, and that is draw, but pierce these holes that are countersunk in what, half inch at 82 degrees, and then 25 or a quarter of an inch through the whole thing. So we're going to countersink two holes at these locations. They're an inch from the bottom, and if you look at it, it looks like they are a inch and a quarter from the sides. So an inch and a quarter in, inch up. That's all I need. So I'm going to go back to my assembly or to my part, and I'm going to sketch those parts. And just do a new sketch on this front face, and we'll view it normal. And zoom in a little tighter here. And what I like to do for holes is I like to just put a point down, point there. We'll put another point over here. Make sure they're not constrained to each other in any way, form, or fashion. And then I can dimension them. So I know that from the bottom, it's an inch. And I know from the side, from here to here, I know that's an inch and a quarter. So I'll get that typed in. And I'll do the same for this one. Inch and a quarter over. And I know that it is an inch from the bottom. Boom. All right, so I got my holes, or I've got my points where the holes are going to go, and that's done in the sketch. Now what I can do is I can go to my hole tool, and now we can do a countersink hole. Most of this stuff's going to come up as is, but if you need to change stuff, you can. But I know that I want a hole there, I want a hole there, I want it to be countersunk. I want my clearance from left to right to be a quarter of an inch, so we're going to change this to quarter of an inch, and I know that I want my degrees to be 82. That's pretty typical for a countersink, but I want that width of the countersink to be a lot larger than what's popping up there. I need that to be a half inch. That's just going to make that look a little bit wider for my countersink for the head of the screw to sink into. And that should knock out all of that. So countersink, all that stuff should be on the point. Clearance number 5 free. That automatically should pop up. If not, you can put those things in, but change the two here and here. Boom. And there we go. We've got our part, and that looks like it matches it exactly, right? So looking at the drawing, everything seems to match up. If you're not sure of yourself, um, I would do what I'm about to do, which you have to do anyway, which is create a drawing of it. Okay, so we're gonna make a drawing of this, but before we go there, let's actually assign a material to this. Let's make it um, just the very first aluminum option. Let's just make it out of aluminum. All right. And then what you can do is you can select everything by dragging and then click on this scales button right here, and you'll be able to get volume, mass, all of the questions that I might be asking you for your submission can be found when you click that after you've assigned the material to part number 1. So make sure that you do that. All right, I'm not going to obviously click on that because it would just give the answers away. But what I would like you to do, the last thing, is I'd like you to make a drawing of this, and I'll try to go quickly. So we're going to create a drawing. We're going to do a custom template with no border, no title block, just a blank canvas. I want to try to keep this. It loads a lot faster when you don't bring in a title block. So that's kind of the purpose of doing that. It's going to leave the scale as is. Okay. So I've got two parts in here because I've done this twice. Once for the video, once for just myself to make sure I understood what I was doing. But I'm going to bring in the only part. You should only be seeing that one part that you've built. So bring that in, and then just bring it in as a front view. Slide up, you got your top view. Click on it again. Come over, you got your front view, and then click on it again. Come up to the top, and you got your isometric. All right. So I need that. I also need you to right click or two finger click once you're out of the projected view. Two finger click, and let's show our hidden lines. Two finger click, let's show our hidden lines, and do that for all your views. And I also like the idea of no, I have to tell you what. We'll just leave that as is. We won't make it look fancy or anything right now. We'll just leave it like that. Just another thing to worry about. And I want you to come through and I want you to add some dimensions to match the dimensions on my drawing that I gave you. Okay, so I want you to add all these things, which doesn't take for too long. You're familiar with using the dimensioning tool. So you're going to come in, you're going to show how long that is, right? How far it is. You just think from like solid line to solid line, right? And kind of build your way from smallest to longest within there. Do that on the tops and the bottoms of each side. Okay. I'm not going to go through and do this all in the video because I feel like you can get all of that from the drawing that I gave you. You want to make sure all of these match and have the same thing. I do want to talk real quickly just about the note of your name up here because I'll need to see your name in the note, not mine, and talk about how to get this, which is the dimensions for the countersink and the hole, just real fast. So if you go to drawing, that's your in, and you hit this little drop down menu here. The whole call out is what we want on this. So make sure that you get the center crosshair selected. You can drag that call out to show that it's a quarter of inch all the way through and it's a half inch countersink by 82 degrees. And so you can have that part on. Everything else is just a regular old click on dimension, which I can get back to by coming back up here, just doing like your regular dimensioning, right? So like how far is it from here to the center of that hole, which would be, there, right? That should match what we did in the drawing, right? How far is it from there to that center? And how far is it all the way across the whole thing? Right? So just getting like all of the important dimensions. Make sure that you're stair stepping it as you work your way out. Proper dimensioning should be done in that way. You have a couple of dimensions that you'll need to knock out over here that match my drawing, but eventually you'll have it looking like this, right? This is what I need a screenshot of. One more thing, I'll show you how to do the note, and then we'll be done with this video. So come up here to notes, click there, and type in your name. Hit check, and that should be there. And then, of course, that, and then do yourself a little screenshot. Let's see if I can remember what it is on my Mac. I think it's Command Shift 4. Yep. And you just get a little screenshot of that. Boom. Take a picture. Insert that into the assignment. So the things that you'll need is that picture with your name on the note, all your dimensioning, your drawing. The part's already been drawn. You have selected everything. You've assigned the material, and you've hit the scale button and got the I think I asked for the volume and the mass whenever it's in aluminum form. So those two numbers I should be able to grade really fast, rounded to a particular whole number or whatever, and then also your drawing as a snapshot. And I think this video does a pretty good job of walking you through how to do that. So hopefully it is helpful, but I'm going to stop sharing. I hope you guys have a wonderful NTI day. This wasn't too long of an assignment. Later.